I'm going to start with problem number 1. Okay, you always, when you're solving problems that involve some type of mathematical calculation or mathematical concept, you're going to use the same strategy. You're going to make a list. Then if you have to apply a formula, you're going to write a formula and you're going to evaluate your expression. You're going to calculate and then you're going to write the answer in complete sentence. Okay, Kyle, I'm recording this because since you're not paying attention, when you get home and you feel comfortable, you can watch the video. Okay? So now, last class when you were calculating percent by mass and percent by volume. Ami Ramos was giving you the mass of the solute and the mass of the solvent. Luciano, the video is for you too. I'm recording, see I'm saying names because I'm recording evidence. Okay? So every time that you see this, okay, the concentration of alcohol. See? When you have a sentence like that, the word that you have here at the end always is gonna be the solute. It doesn't matter if you don't have information about the solvent. Last class I was explaining to Romina that water is the universal solvent. Why is water the universal solvent? Because water is a polar covalent compound. And I explained that a long time ago. In water is going to be able to dissolve ionic compound and covalent polar compound. So very important for living things. So your problem over here, this is 1 mass of sodium hydroxide is needed to prepare a 40 gram of a solution 10% by mass. Do you have information about the solvent in there? The answer is no. You don't know what the solvent is. You don't know what the solvent is. Okay? No information. No information, and you don't need to know that. No information. It could be alcohol. It could be water. You don't know that. What is the information that you have over here? Your solute. How do you know that? Because it's an ionic compound. An ionic compound are usually a solute in a solution. Do you understand that part? Okay, so 1 mass of sodium hydroxide, and what is sodium hydroxide in that solution? What is sodium hydroxide in that solution? See? It's put it over there. What is sodium hydroxide in that solution? The solute, okay? To prepare a 40 gram of a solution, 10% by mass. Information that I have. What is the information that I have over here? 40 grams. What is that? 40 grams of a solution. What is that? What do you measure in grams? Mohammed is watching TikTok video. Evidence. From now on, it's evidence because we are in the last stretch of the school year. In the last stretch of the school year. 40 grams. What are the 40 grams? Is that the mass of the solute? Is that the mass of the solvent? 40 grams. What is that? What is that? As you can see, they don't want to answer, so I'm going to continue. 40 grams of a solution. So is the mass of the solution equals 40 grams. What else do I have in there? What else do I have in there? When you're reading that, what else do I have in there? And I'm going to post that in class dojo as well. What else do I have in that word problem? Caleb, do you see another number in there? 10% by mass. So the percent by mass, 10%. We're going to wait for Ricky and company. What do I have to find? The mass of sodium hydroxide. What is sodium hydroxide one more time? The solute. So I have to find the mass of the solute. I'm gonna put a question mark because I don't know that. Do you know what is the formula to calculate percent by mass? Do you know what is that formula? Bracho, you were asking for a computer, and I told you, what do you want a computer? To do the work, and I told you, you don't have to. You don't need a computer, you have to copy, and you copy. Ah, ok, verá. ¿Verdad que tiene pereza? Ah, no tiene lápiz. Bracho doesn't have a pencil or pen. Bracho doesn't have a pencil or pen. The formula to calculate percent by mass. No, okay. Y Sebastián Gomez in Washington top video as well. So I'm gonna put that over here. Percent by mass is equal to the mass of the solute over the mass of the solution multiplied by 100. Multiply by 100. Do I have the percent by mass? Look at the list. Do I have the percent by mass? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I have the mass of the solution?
Yeah.
What do I need to find? The mass of the solvent. The mass of the solute. The mass of the, which is this part of the equation, yes or no? So my next step is just to evaluate my formula. And I'm going to use a different color. I'm going to use a different color. I have 10% by mass. That is equal to the mass of a solute that I don't know what it is. So I'm going to put an X over mass of the solution. And what is the mass of the solution? 40 grams. 40 grams. And that is multiplied by 100. That is, how many of you are taking algebra 1? How many of you? That's a multi-step equation. If you don't know how to do that, you're not passing that algebra test. You're not passing that algebra test. How do you solve that? How do you solve for x? How do you solve for x? It's not funny. See? At the end of the 9th grade, you don't know how to solve a multi-step equation. You shouldn't be laughing. You should be crying. Okay? So how do you solve that? I'm going to start looking at the terms that are affecting the x. First, I have 100 over here. And what is the operation that 100 is performing? And what is the opposite? Division. So to the other side divided. Yes or no? So I'm going to continue over here. I have 10 divided by 100 to the other side, because remember, if I want to get rid of the 100, I have to apply the opposite operation, which is division. When I divide by 100 on this side, it's going to cancel. But whatever I do on one side, I have to do the same on the other. Yes or no? Yeah. That is equal to x over 40 grams. And I have a question for you. How do you solve for x? In that case, how do you solve for x? Usecha is watching TikTok videos. Sebastián Gomez is watching TikTok videos. Okay? Ricky is watching a soccer game. I don't know what Jaden is doing because he's putting the cell phone behind his book bag. It's up to you, meaning your decision. I'm not going to force you. I cannot change the way that you think. The only thing that I can do is just to influence. Okay, how do you solve for x? No idea. Good to know. This is a proportion. And you're solving for x. You are crossing multiplying, and then you're dividing for this one. Okay, so x is going to be equal to 10 multiplied by 40 grams divided by 100. Divided by 100. Do you know how to solve that operation? So you have 10 multiplied by 40. How much is that, Bracho? 10 multiplied by 40. ¿Tú no sabes? 10, Jesús Cristo. That's what I, okay, 400. And I divide that by 100, 4. So the answer over here is, 4 grams. Because 10 multiplied by 40 is 400, divide by 100 is 4. The grams important because you are finding mass. What mass of sodium hydroxide? Questions until there. Questions. What are the questions that you have until there? That's the first example in which Ms. Ramos is showing you how to find the mass of the solute, knowing the percent by mass. Am I done over here? No, because I have to write the answer, right? What was the question? What was the question? What was the question? As you can see, parents, there's no question in this class. What was the question?
It's asking what mass do you need to get.
So if you want to answer using complete sentence, you're going to steal from the question, yes or no? The mass of NaOH needed is 4 grams. Write that down because I don't have a space here. The mass of sodium hydroxide, you can write the formula if you want to. The mass of sodium hydroxide needed is 4 grams. Questions about that example? ¿Seguro? So we're going to move to the second one. Ya va. Okay. You're not copying anything, see? Okay. Remember, I'm going to repeat that one more time because I want the record on the video. Out of the 7 problems that you're going to be solving today, 3 of them, they're going to be solved on the board. So you can use that as an example. And today when I get home, I'm going to create and explain everything, explaining this topic. For the ones that were missing today's class. And I'm going to post that there too. Christopher doesn't know what is the answer. Say, do you remember the answer for this problem? Huh? Huh? What is the answer? Okay. Is that the complete sentence? No. But he needs to know how to write a complete sentence. You're going to steal for the question. Can I erase all of this? Okay. Voy aquí. And number 6. In why number 6? Because number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5 say that we did in number 1. I'm giving you information about concentration, and then you have information about the solution, and the only thing that you have to find is mass or volume of the solute. That's what I'm going to stop over here on number 6. What is my first step? What is my first step? You're going to read the question to complete the list, right? Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Let me use my annotation. Annotation is How many grams of sodium chloride are needed to prepare a solution with a concentration in percent by mass equal to 12.5%, but I have more information. And 250 grams of water. Sophia, what is water? Igual da. A pure substance or a mixture? Why? It's not mixed with anything. Water is a pure substance. Why? Why is water a pure substance? So I'm gonna come over here. Percent by mass. Percent by mass is not mixed with anything. So hydrogen and oxygen, they are not mixed. 12.5%. We're talking about a solution. Water is the solute or is the solvent? Say that again. Say that again. Don't be afraid. Water is the solution or the solvent? Or the solute or the solvent? What is water? What is water? Solute or solvent? 3 times in a row. Okay, one more time. Water is the universal solvent because it can dissolve ionic compounds and covalent polar compounds, and it's super important for living things. Okay, so water is the solvent, and I have the mass of the solvent. Solvent. I'm gonna post this in YouTube and TikTok. 250 grams. Because I need to find a way to communicate with your generation. So now I'm using all the resources that I have. I need to find the mass of sodium chloride. If water is the solvent, what is sodium chloride? The solute. Mis Ramos, this is more of the same. No, it's not. I'm giving you the mass of the solution. I'm giving you the mass of the solution. See? Why? Miss Ramos doesn't answer any type of question. Okay? Why? Everyone is quiet, so we're gonna continue. Percent by mass is the mass of the solute over the mass of the solution multiplied by 100. Do we have the mass of the solution? Do we have the mass of the solution? Luciano Garcia is not copying, hasn't stopped watching the cell phone, and I'm not gonna take that cell phone away because I didn't buy that electronic device. So I don't want to be liable for what happens to that electronic device. Do I have the mass of the solution, Luciano? What is it? Can you point on that? Look at the list. Do I have the mass of the solution? What is it? Look at the list. Do I have that? No, I don't have the mass of the solution. But I know that the mass of the solution is the mass of the solute plus the mass of the solvent. So I'm going to rewrite my formula. Percent by mass is equal to mass of the solute over the mass of the solute plus the mass of the solvent multiplied by 100. And then I'm going to get another color. Algebra 1.1. Enrique is still watching the soccer game. Next step, I'm going to start evaluating my formula. Do I have the percent by mass? I have a 12.5. Do I have the mass of the solute? Do I have the mass of the solute? That's what I need to find. Over X. Do I have the mass of the solute? I don't have that. That's what I need to find. Do I have the mass of the solvent?
Yes.
250 grams, and I'm going to multiply all of that by 100. And you have an equation. And you're going to have equations like that in the Algebra 1 test every 2 seconds. Meaning that if you don't know, by now, if you don't know how to solve that, forgetting about that 3 on the Algebra 1 test. You're going to forget about that. So that's an equation. What is my first step in that equation? To solve that equation. A ver, Carlos, help me here. ¿Ah? Voy a dividir por 100. So I'm going to get rid of 100 on this side. I'm dividing. Whatever I do on one side, I have to do the same on the other. I have to do the same on the other. Can I erase all of that to show you how to solve that equation?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to erase all of this so I can show you how to solve this. Because I want to do that step by step. ChatGPT is not going to explain all of this way. So when I open your class where you don't show me all of that, that's an F. Okay? Just keep that in mind. So now I have 12.5 divided by 100 equal to x 250 grams. How do you solve that? Any idea? That's a proportion. How do you solve for x? How do you do that? Okay. No sabemos, mis ramos. Cross multiplication. 100x. See what I did? Cross multiplication is gonna be equal to 12.5. That multiplies x plus 250 grams. When you have a parenthesis, what do? You have to apply the distributive property. So I have 100x equal to 12.5x plus, get your cell phone. What is the multiplication of 250 times 12.5? 250 multiplied by 12.5. Aguacate, tomate, calabaza, 3,100. That's what you told me, yeah? 3,125. 3,125 what? Grams. And I have a question for you. Is the x isolated? Do I have x in both sides of the equation? What do you do? Easy piece of cake. I'm going to pass that to the other side. This is adding, the opposite is subtracting, so they cancel. 100 minus 12.5. 87.5. So this subtraction over here, 87.5x equals 3,125 grams. X, the x isolated. What is affecting the x? The 87.5, right? What is the 87.5 doing to the x? What is the opposite? There you go. You know how to do that, Carlos. Division, and I'm going to divide. Calculator. 3,125 divided by 87.5. ¿Cuánto es eso? Huh?
35.171.
35. I'm going to put that over here. 35.7. After the 7, what is the number that you have?
1.
After the 1, what is the number that you have? 4. So I'm going to round to the nearest hundredth. And since this is a 4, 35.71 aguacate. Grams. Questions about that? Step by step, what was the only difference? That now, instead of Ms. Ramos giving you the mass of the solution, Ms. Ramos was giving you the mass of the solvent. And you have to find the mass of the solute given the concentration. Okay, so if I want to prepare, okay, a solution at 12.5% by mass with 250 grams of water, what is the mass of sodium chloride that I need? 35.71 grams. What is the mass of the solution in this case? Let's say that I'm looking for the mass of the solution. How can I find the mass of the solution? No idea. So I have the mass of the solvent and I have the mass of the solute. How can I find the mass of the solution? I have the mass of the solvent, it's a given, and you already found the mass of the solute. If I want to find the mass of the solution, what do I need to do? Huh? Divide. Solution is equal to the solute plus the solvent. I gave you the solvent. We calculate the solute. Now I want the mass of the solution. How? Huh? That's it. Adding the 250 or the 35%, you have the mass of the solution. Questions about that? Are we done? What is missing there? The answer. Kael Vera is still watching something on his cell phone. Okay? But it doesn't matter because I told him that I'm recording all of this. So he's going to pay attention to this video when he has time on at home, and then he's going to solve all the problem without using artificial intelligence. Question, how many grams of sodium chloride are needed? How many grams? You're going to steal from the question. Okay. 35% grams of sodium chloride are needed to prepare the solution. That's it.
Are you right? Are you right? Oh, no.
You write it down.
Yeah, I took
Okay, you write it down. Can I go to the last one?
Wait.
How many grams of sodium chloride are needed to prepare this solution? That's a question. How do you answer that question using complete sentence? ¿Ve? How do you answer? The question is, how many grams? Third grade question. How many grams of sodium chloride I needed to prepare a solution? This solution.
Right. 1 gram of sodium chloride.
Of sodium. So 35.71 grams of sodium chloride. Then you start of sodium chloride are needed to prepare this solution. You are stealing from the question. Stealing from the question. Usually, okay, when you are using formal English, you speak using complete sentence. Allison is watching TikToks, but she's gonna pay attention to this video as well to do the homework. Okay? To do the homework. I'm gonna post all of this in YouTube. Mi canal de YouTube. I can post whatever I want in my YouTube channel, right? I have YouTube, I have TikTok, I have Instagram for educational purpose. For educational purpose. And that's what I'm recording this. Because I'm gonna post all of this. I have no picture of you. Your face is not showing. Your face is not showing. Okay? Meaning that there is no legal or liability issue. I'm not recording you. I'm recording myself. Recording myself with all of this strategy. Can I erase all this? Okay, but the last one. I have to teach the same class on Monday. Okay, do you think that I'm going to teach the class on Monday? No, I'm going to play the video. Smart, right? Smart. Okay, instead of doing that twice, now I'm recording the video, and I'm going to play the video on Monday, and they're going to be able to do that. What are you doing, Christopher? He's on his phone. Christopher is on the phone. Okay, it's your right. It's your right. And it's your life. So you do whatever you want. Okay? As long as you are not violating the rights of other people, you can do whatever you want. Okay? Including, excluding you from an excellent education. See, it's your life, you do whatever you want. I'm gonna solve the problem. Okay? You know the strategy. You read the problem, you get the information, you write the formula, you find the unknown variable, and then you answer the question using complete sentence. I'm going to start doing all of that there. If you don't understand, you ask questions, okay? You ask questions. If you are not asking questions, that means that you're understanding what I'm doing. I'm going to assume that if you don't have questions, it's because you're understanding what I'm doing on the board, okay? Why? I can hear you, Romina. Say that again, louder. Why? Okay. Romina is asking me why I'm writing over here two formulas. Am I writing two formulas on the board? Am I writing two formulas on the board? Am I writing two formulas on the board? Is this formula different from this one? What makes a solution? What makes a solution? The solute plus the solvent. Do I have information over here about the solution? So I need to split that up. It's the same formula. It's the same formula. I'm expanding because I don't have the volume of the solution. I don't have the volume of the solution. Voy a continuar aquí because it cancel. Remember that everything is recorded. Eh? Just keep that in mind because you're the generation that loves to record everything. Everything is recorded. I'm using the same strategy that you're using. I'm learning from you. As long as you don't make any noise, you're not going to be recorded on the video. Remember that I'm not recording you. I'm recording myself teaching this. Can I erase the top part so I can continue over there? Okay. Verify that multiply. Remember that you have over there a proportion. That multiplies 47 milliliters plus X equal to, I'm multiplying these two. Since I'm multiplying by a power of 10, the only thing that I have to do is to add the two zeros. Romina told me on the problem before me, Ramo, when you have a parenthesis, you have to apply the distributive property. That's what I'm going to do. 35 multiplied by 47. Ephraim, 35 multiplied by 47. 35 multiplied by 47. You know what is genetics, right? You know what is genetics. Genetics is the blueprint for a new life. Meaning that if you are short, and let's say that you are a boy, okay, you are an adult, and your wife is short, can you have tall kids? Can you have tall kids? If you are short and your wife is short, can you have tall kids? You have to look at the pedigree, because maybe grandpa was tall, and that gene was recessive. You're going to learn that in genetics and biology. But let's say that trait doesn't run in the family. Everyone is short. You are married to a woman that is short like you, and you have a tall kid. Ah, suspicious, right? To be a basketball player, you need a minimum height, right? Because if you're short, are you going to be playing in the basketball? It's called genetics. What? See, if you put the effort, pero there's a minimum height in there. If you are 4'8", genetics are not helping. Now, when you are small, you are super good for track and field. Because if you realize the drag force is going to act on you less. It's all about science. Okay, I know that sometimes you want to be a basketball player, but you are not tall. So you end up, not being in the basketball team and not learning science. Because you were wasting your time looking at basketball games during the science class. Even though you're not going to be part of the team. See that? Even though you're not going to be part of the team. But if you're short, soccer is for you. Track and field is for you. Sometimes you have to play with genetics. Okay? And the predisposition. A ver, ¿cuánto es? 35 multiplied by 47. 1,645 milliliters plus 35 x equal until there. Can I erase the bottom part? Oi, I'm gonna erase the bottom part. The only thing that I'm doing here is solving equation. Solving Mr. Campus, okay, area. Solving equation, multi-step equation. Mr. Campus, area. I'm gonna cancel this over here. 45. And Mr. Brown area. Once upon a time, I used to be a math teacher. But the moment that a student told me that 3 multiplied by 3 was 12, I just decided to go to the science department. I just decide, give me the answer to that subtraction. 4,700 minus 1,645. ¿Cuánto es eso? 3,000. Yo no sé, pero mira, esto es 5 to get to 10 is 5 and I'll take 1. 5 to 10 to 10. 5, 0, no? Okay, 0. Milliliters. See? That was the answer. Is the X isolated? The X, look at the X. It's isolated. Mira. What is affecting the X? The 35. You know that 35 is called a coefficient. And the coefficient is always multiplying the variable. The opposite operation of multiplication is division. What is the answer for that? Answer. A ver. 8 algo. Debe ser 8. No. 80. 7. 87 puntos. 87. 87 point. You have a 2. You have an A. And after the A, what is the number that you have? 5. Okay, since you have a 5 and it's in the middle, you're going to look at the A. It's an even number, you're not going to touch that. But let's say that you have a 7 over here and a 5. When you have a 5, you have to look at the number. Okay, if it's an even number, I'm not going to touch it. If you have an odd number, then you're going to add 1. 87.28 watts. Calabaza, croqueta, pastelito, milliliters. Milliliters. Because I'm looking for what? What am I looking for, Veronica? What am I looking for? Look at the question. The volume. Volume can be given in grams. No. Okay? See? You're looking for volume, liters, milliliters, deciliters, centiliters. Now you write the answer using complete sentence and you're done. Ms. Ramos did on the board. Number 1, number 6, number 7. Okay? The easy one, that's your responsibility. You have 15 more minutes. Okay? I'm not pretending that you're going to finish that here because I know that this video needs time. Needs time. Okay? So, the assignment is due midnight. Midnight. Or you want me to put that for Tuesday? Okay, anyway, you don't do that for today midnight, you're not going to do that for Tuesday. Okay? ¿Seguro que sí? Okay, good.